NFL logos ranked worst to best. So, as you guys probably know, I'm still on this journey of like finding my NFL team. I've been trying to pick a team that I'm going to follow, and there's a lot of things involved in this because I want it to be somewhere that I can actually get to, whether it's, every couple of years. So I don't want it to be too far, but at the same time, I want it to be something that's like, so I'm an Arsenal supporter. We're a big team, one of the biggest in the country. I think historically we're the third largest team in the country. Haven't won a big trophy well, 20 years, 21 years. We've won like a smaller trophy, the FA Cup, I think that was 5 years ago. So it's a team I'm looking for an NFL team in that kind of sphere. So like a sleeping giant kind of a team. So like looking at these logos is going to help as well, because the logo is, a big part of the identity of the team. So hopefully there's a logo that like really sort of like speaks to me. That sounds so kind of cliche, doesn't it?
If you're a fan of the channel, you'd remember that last week we ranked the NBA logos from worst to best.
I mean, just looking at this, I like the Raptors logo. I like the Heat logo. The Lakers is pretty cool. The State Warriors with the Golden Gate Bridge. The Bulls. To be honest, all of these logos are pretty cool.
And a lot of you guys really enjoyed that video. And also a good amount of you guys commented for us to rank the NFL logos from worst to best. And that is what we will be doing today. The NFL has 32 unique logos, 2 more than the NBA. And unlike the NBA, they are not required to have the team name and city on the logo. So that means that a lot of these logos are more simplistic and iconic than the NBA logos. And with that being said, these logos aren't changed that often.
Why are the NBA logos required to have the team name on the logo? Why is that?
Therefore, clearly this is going to be a very controversial video, as everybody's opinion on logos is completely different. People have a different preference on simplicity, color, style, etc. So I expect to see a lot of comments with completely different rankings of their own, so make sure to put them down below. But as usual, there are some logos that are clearly better than some others.
Yeah.
So by ranking them all from worst to best, we will be able to see the more bland logos compared to some of the best logos in sports history. Thank you guys for clicking onto the channel today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. Put your rankings in the comment section below, and also make sure to check out my channel. I cover a variety of sports. If you like sports, you'll like my channel, and I'm sure if you check out my other videos, you will want to subscribe. But enough of all that, let's rank these 32 NFL logos from worst to best.
Let's go.
Now, clearly coming in last place, we have the Washington Commanders' new logo.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, this is really there's simplistic and there's this. This is way too simplistic. There's not a lot going on here.
Actually don't mind their new jerseys, but if we're talking logos here, the logo is pretty simple and I guess boring. It really is just a fonted W. It also doesn't help that it's a brand new logo in the first place, so a lot of fans haven't necessarily grasped onto it yet.
Right.
With that being said, even in decades to come, I don't think anybody will be thinking highly of this logo. At number 31, we have the new Rams logo. Now, I'm not trying to put all the logos.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks a bit like a washing detergent logo. Like, yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of like a chemical or a medication kind of logo.
Logos that are new lower down on the list. But with that being said, they've just had some very unoriginal and simplistic ideas with these new logos. And the Rams is no different. The Rams had an amazing logo in their St. Louis and even early LA days. But since then, they've converted to this oversimplified ram horn with the letters LA in the center. And it honestly really looks like the Microsoft Edge logo.
Yeah, it kind of, it resembles quite a few other logos that I've seen before. It doesn't really look like a sports team logo. Or do you guys disagree?
Their old logo was much better, and I even think that their alternate secondary logo of the Ram is much better too. And I hope they switch to that as their primary logo at some point, because it just makes more sense. This logo looks more like a secondary logo than anything. At number 30, we have the New York Giants logo. Now, despite this logo being an icon...
You know what? I kind of like this one. It's simplistic, but I really like this font. It's really bold.
Classic logo. If we take a look just simply at design purposes, there really isn't much there. Just a simple NY representing New York, obviously, in this dark blue with a red outline. I think it does well as being an NFL logo on its own, and I don't really think it needs any change necessarily because it's meant to be simple. But as far as a ranking goes, if we are comparing all these logos to one another, it will be lower down on the list. And the same thing applies with the number 29 Jets logo. Yet another New York team. The Jets logo is simple with just a little bit more design. You have the football in the center and obviously New York Jets in the middle. But really the same thoughts apply here. It works well as an NFL logo, it's a staple, and I really see no need for it to change. But there's just some better, more detailed, and more impressive primary logos in the NFL.
I think what they could do here is maybe if they added like a stitching outline along here, you know, along the interior, like a stitch, like a white sort of like type thing.
At number 28, we have the Cincinnati Bengals logo. Just the simple B with tiger stripes. And one thing I found interesting is that this is one of the only logos that the letter isn't representing the city, but the team name. But I realized that this is because it also represents the Brown family that owns the team. I really enjoy the nice nod to the ownership here. However, this pretty much is just a basic logo. Their past logo of the tiger head from the late 90s was so much...
This is so much better. This is so much better. Don't you agree? Way better.
Better, as it just looks like one of those scary and yet detailed animal logos. But as far as the simple B goes, it ranks here. At number 27, we have My Patriots logo. Now, I'm a Patriots fan, so personally, I do like how this logo represents the Brady era and the dynasties that happened. But in my opinion, on a logo perspective, it isn't really anything that crazy. You do clearly see the patriotic theme in the Patriots logo, obviously. But in my opinion, I much prefer the old Pat the Patriot logo. The Flying Elvis is alright. Now, even though we're only at the 26 mark on this list, the rest of the 26 logos are good at the very least.
Why is it that the logos, as they've gotten more modern, they've become more simplified? Like, it seems that they've removed a lot of detail and just made them really simpler.
These teams did a great job designing their either very classy logo or a very intricately designed one. So with that being said, with all these logos being good, there's going to be some beloved logos coming up next that a lot of people want to see higher. I still love them as a logo, but it's just the NFL has such a good logo collection that it's really hard to beat out some of these other logos. But with that being said, at number 26, we have the classic Green Bay Packers logo. It's timeless, it works perfectly as a logo, and it's a sports icon. It features the G for Green Bay right in the center of the green background and the yellow outline. Simple design, yet it's a staple of the NFL. At number 20...
And it suits their team. It's got like this rugged feel to it. I don't know how to put it. Maybe it's the green, that deep green.
We have the Tennessee Titans logo. Now the Titans have that fireball shield logo with the T right front and center, and the same colors and stars that you see on the Tennessee flag. It's a simple logo but uses a nice color scheme and it looks clean at the same time. I feel like they could use a more detailed logo of a Titan or something, but for what they have, it's pretty good. At number 24, we have the Cleveland Browns logo. Now I actually just love the silly idea of the team logo being the team's helmet itself. It's an iconic logo, one that you'll see all over the place. And I have a feeling maybe in the coming years they will change it to a dog logo or maybe the elf. I really hope they don't change it to the elf. But
yeah, it's kind of cool. It's different. It's different. Like, there's been nothing like this so far.
I'd be perfectly fine if they just stuck with the helmet. At number 23, we have the Dolphins logo. Now, I actually prefer the older
really
variations of the logo where the Dolphins wearing the helmet. I feel like it's more football themed because as of right now, there's no way that you would be able to tell that this dolphin is a football logo.
Yeah.
But without that being said, it's still a nice looking logo. The dolphin in the center is designed nicely. It's not as scary as a dolphin as the past logo, which I actually liked better on the past logo.
Again, these old ones are just better. Like, this one has like a retro feel to it as well. Yeah, man, it feels like a lot of these logos have gone backwards.
And then obviously you have the ray of sun around the dolphin. Still a good logo, but it could be better. At number 22, we have the 49ers logo. Now, I know that there's a lot of 49er fans that watch my videos, so this placement might be a little lower than you guys wanted, but let me just say it's a beautiful logo.
I like it.
It doesn't stack up against the more detailed designed logos, especially the animal logos, but the history, the classiness behind it, it's simply an icon in sports. Definitely one of the main 3 iconic logos in the NFL. And it's just a clean, tight logo with the SF overlapping each other, followed by the red background, a gold outline, and then a black outline around that. A timeless logo that doesn't even need to be any more designed.
Yeah, it's so funny how, although this is fairly simple, it just looks good. It's hard to put it into words why, but it just has this like vintage sort of like essence to it, if you know what I mean. It's hard to describe what I'm feeling really looking at this.
At number 21, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers logo.
This is really
nice. It's a simple logo that gets the job done, and it's also a menacing logo.
Yeah.
You have the pirate flag with the skull in the center, 2 swords going across, and the football in the middle. They've actually used this style of logo since 1997, except there was a little bit of more modernizing and sharpening done in 2014 to clean up the logo a bit. I personally actually enjoy the previous logo, but overall, it's still a decent logo. Cracking the top 20, we have the Houston Texans logo. Now, I actually really enjoyed this logo. Obviously, the outline is of a bull's head, and in addition to that, the colors are split up to represent the Texas flag.
Yeah, this is unique as well. Like, I like these animal inspired logos, just makes it more menacing.
There's also a star, which represents the Lone Star State of Texas. And overall, I think it does a great job at representing the team, the state, and including an animal there just to add more detail. We have the Chargers logo coming in at number 19. Now, it's a very simple logo, but it looks really good. It pretty much just is a yellow lightning bolt with a blue outline, obviously representing the team's colors. And while I do think this logo looks better on things such as their helmets and uniforms, despite the standalone logo being simple, it gets the job done.
I think it needs a bit more for me. I think this is a bit too simple. Now
at number 18, very similarly, we have the Colts logo. This is just another example of a very simple logo getting the job done, and it looks really good on the apparel, the team's helmets. Obviously, the logo is just a horseshoe representing, you know, a colt and how they wear horseshoes on their hooves. It's one of those iconic logos that you will never see changed, but it has a nice balance of simplicity, classiness, and symbolism. At number 17, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers logo. Now, this Steelers logo is directly based off the logo of the American Iron and Steel Institute, but it actually fits very well at being a football logo, surprisingly. It pretty much is a direct copy of that logo, except obviously instead of saying steel, it says Steelers. The colors are a bit different and it is sharpened. The colors represent the materials used to make steel: yellow for coal, red for iron ore, and blue for steel scrap.
Yeah, this is cool. And I love the link between the steel industry as well. Very nice.
I like the rare idea we see here of a logo being completely based off of another already existing logo, but it works well and is one of the iconic logos of the NFL. We are now at the halfway mark, the upper half of the logos. All these logos are amazing, and there was times that I wanted to rip my hair out trying to rank these logos because they're all so good. So if you're a fan of one of these teams, congrats, you have one of the premier logos of the NFL. But kicking off, number 16, we have the Kansas City Chiefs logo. Now, one thing really interesting about this logo is it actually was created just by Lamar Hunt sketching on a napkin.
What I really like about this is like it's an arrowhead, you know, like shape. This is so cool. Like, to me, there's just something really cool about that. Like one of those historic old arrowheads that somebody carved from like a stone.
On a plane flight. He drew out this logo, which was KC in the center, with the arrowhead outline, obviously paying homage to the roots of the Native Americans and the chief theme of the team.
Super cool.
So I find it funny how simple the uproots of this logo are. It was created by Lamar Hunt himself and in the most simple way possible, which I find hilarious. But overall, a clean logo, and I really hope they stick with this logo for a long time. There's no change needed. At number 15.
Yeah, I think what makes this one work, even though it's simple, it's got like... because it's got that link to the Native Americans and the arrowhead. It just all of it together just works, if you know what I mean.
We have another AFC West team, and this is the Raiders logo. Now, the logo
this
is
badass.
pretty much just a better Buccaneers logo, in my opinion. It looks cleaner, classier. The image of the pirate in a Raiders helmet just looks really nice. I love the old school design. I love how they stuck with this theme pretty much ever since the creation of the franchise. Some people may call it basic, but in my opinion, that's the true beauty of it, as it really just does an amazing job at being a logo.
And the colors as well, the black, the gray, it just looks like what I expect a football team logo to be, you know, like serious, mean, you know.
Doesn't do anything too flashy, represents the team perfectly. Now, just one thing I quickly noticed before moving on, you can clearly see I prefer the detailed animal logos.
Same.
As there's 14 logos left on this list and 11 of them are animal based. So you can clearly see what my preferences are. Obviously, you guys might have some different preferences, but that pretty much is just a good indicator on how this list is going to go. At number 14, we have the Carolina Panthers logo. I actually really enjoy the design of this logo. It's fierce, it's powerful. The panther looks scary. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward logo. It's a logo of a panther.
This is so badass, man. This is whoever designed this, Brilliant.
The team named the Panthers. And one final thing I enjoyed is that the general shape of the Panther actually takes shape of the Carolinas, which is a nice nod.
Oh.
At 13, we have the Broncos logo. Similarly, another straightforward logo that just features the animal of the team.
I would swap the Panthers with this one.
But I
This
do
is nice,
tend to
though.
prefer this design a bit over the Panthers logo. I love the strong orange mane that it has, as well as the orange eye. It really adds to the detail of it. And once again, just a scary and frightening logo to look at for the opposing team. At number 12, continuing the animal theme, we have the Arizona Cardinals logo. And this also continues the theme of very simple themed logos where the logo is pretty much just the animal itself.
It's so interesting. I would flip this whole thing around. Like, I would have this one where the Panthers one was, and then I would swap. I'd basically have the Panther in 12th.
I do think the Cardinals trying to look fierce in this, but it doesn't really give the fear of the Panthers or Broncos logo. However, for me, what puts this ahead of them is how it compares a detailed animal logo, but it's also just super small and concise and very easy to recognize. The color mixing is done great here, and it's just a nice logo to look at. At number 11, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars logo. One of the more detailed and modern logos you see. I mean, it's just a very designed logo. From everything from the spots, the ears, the jagged teeth, and the menacing look, this logo does a great job. I also love the mix of teal in there with the tongue, the nose, and the eyes. It actually was an idea from the Jaguars owner's wife, and that was her touch. And the Jaguars owner agreed and claimed that the teal tongue came from feeding panthers to our Jaguar, which is obviously a jab at the Carolina Panthers. So I like the cleverness there, and it's just a beautiful logo.
Yeah, I like it.
We're now entering the top 10 logos in the NFL, and kicking it off, we have the New Orleans Saints. One of two logos left that are up here because of their simplicity, classiness, and just the iconic aspects of them. This Saints logo is painted in a beautiful gold. The actual emblem of the logo is the fleur de lis, which is French-based, and it's a stylized depiction of the lily flower. You'll see this a lot in emblems regarding royalty and things of that nature. It's meant to give off a sense of elegance, royalty, and luxury, and I think it does a great job as that, as it's one of the most popular logos in the NFL we see today.
Is it?
I mean, heck, I'm a Patriots fan, but even I have a Saints hat, just because I love the logo itself. Now at number 9, we have the other classic logo. This is the Dallas Cowboys logo. Now you're either gonna love this placement or you're gonna absolutely hate it.
Yeah, nah, man. I don't know. It's. I get it. The star, the Lone Star. I get that. I mean, maybe if I see it on a uniform, this will probably look good on a hat, like for sure. Like a black hat with this on it, very nice. Or like a dark gray hat.
For those who hate it, you might think it's too simple, it doesn't deserve to be this high up considering it is just a star. But for those who love it, you will agree with all the points I'll make. I mean, the reason it's up here is simply just the simpleness and effective design of a team logo. It arguably is the most popular logo in all of sports. You'll see non-football fans wear Cowboys merchandise all the time. Probably the biggest logo in pop culture. The star obviously signifies Texas being the Lone Star State. And like I said, due to its simplicity, there isn't really that much more to explain with this logo. But it's really all a logo needs to be, and it takes the simplicity perfectly. At number 8, we have the Seattle Seahawks logo. Now, this is actually one of the logos I've loved ever since I was a little kid. I love the dark blue with the neon green secondary color. But the true beauty of the logo is actually the history.
Why didn't they give the ball to Marshawn Lynch for him to run the ball? Why did they throw it? It just, to this day, I just don't know why they would do that. Like Pete Carroll, right? He was the coach at the time. Why not just give the ball to Marshawn?
Obviously, the Seahawks logo does represent a Seahawk, but is actually based off of an old Native American mask known as the Transformation Mask, that it was used by many tribes on totem poles, and it represented a hawk or eagle. The fact that they used this piece of history, which links to the history of Seattle as well with all the tribes in that area, and managed to carry it over to a football-based logo is just talent. I mean, the researchers and designers did an absolutely amazing job on this logo, making it look catchy while having amazing roots as well. At number 7, we have the Chicago Bears logo. Now, let me just say, Bears fans, you are lucky that this video wasn't made a year ago.
This is cool. I like this. Especially because the Bears looking at us. A lot of the other animal logos there, it's like the side profile.
Because the logo of your team simply just being a C, it was very bland and probably would have been a bottom 3 spot. But thankfully, the Bears made the smart decision this season of going back to the bear face logo, and it just looks really good. It was actually the secondary logo of the Bears for a little while, and they finally made the smart decision of making this the primary logo, as it does much more than the C. The bear is roaring in the photo. I'm gonna say it again, it's another menacing logo. But despite it being a newer logo, It has a lot of the classic feel. Like, you could say that this logo looks like it's from even the 60s.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job here, and it's one of the better new logos across all sports.
I really love the vintage. Like, you guys you probably got that impression so far already, but I think the older looking logos, they just have a bit more oomph to them. You know, they just have a bit more, they carry a bit more weight, I think, than the sort of really modern, simple ones.
At number 6, we have another NFC North team. This is the Minnesota Vikings logo. Okay. Now, this is one of the more impressive logos out there, considering they've been using this logo since 1961.
Wow.
Sure, there have been some changes, including flipping the logo and making it a little more detailed, but considering that pretty much the same exact logo was seen all the way back from 1966, just shows that this logo has absolutely survived the test of time. In addition to it being one of the longest standing logos in the NFL, it also is just a really nice logo to look at. Obviously, you have the Vikings head, bushy gold mustache, braids, the helmet, and the iconic horns. The horns on this logo is what really makes it for me, as they really implement the horns a lot. I mean, you even see the horns strictly being on the team's helmet. It's an amazing logo, and I'm glad it survived this long. Entering the top 5, we have yet another NFC North team. This is the Lions logo. Once again,
this is really pretty. This might be my favorite so far. This or the 49ers or the Bears. This is really, or the Panthers.
Just another classic logo. They've been using this logo since 1970, so not as long as the Vikings, but still long-standing. Since 1970, they've made some improvements on design, including adding outlines of an eye, the mouth, the mane, etc. Now, previously, since 2017, this has had a light gray border on the outside of the line. It used to have a black border, but with that being said, I believe that this is the best version of the...
For sure, this is the best. Leave it alone. You don't have to add anything to this
line we've seen yet. It keeps that classic feel, and the light blue and light gray color combo not only on the logo, but on the team's design in general is beautiful. The lion standing, paws up very menacingly, and it's as if it's taking a pounce on the opponent. It's a really cool design, and it's the perfect mix of classic yet detailed. Now, the next 3 placements are actually all modern birds, and you'll see what I mean, as number 4 we have the Baltimore Ravens logo. The purple and gold is really a beautiful royal color combination that I wish I saw more often, but it is done great here on the logo. The logo of the Raven, obviously with the B standing Baltimore, a nice red fierce eye.
Yeah, the colors work really well together, like really well. The gold with that dash of red in the eye, and this B, this like italic B. This works, to be fair.
And the beak. It has honestly been around longer than I thought it would. I mean, this looks like this logo was maybe created in 2010, but they've actually been implementing this exact logo since 1999. Even today, it's still a beautiful logo that requires no change and is done very well. Earning the bronze at number 3, we have the Philadelphia Eagles logo. Now, with Philadelphia being a city filled with so much US history, it's only fitting that the patriotic eagle represents this team. And it's in a very similar situation as the Ravens logo. This one was created in 1996, so only 3 years older. But still, it's very detailed, very modern.
You know what? He's done a very good job with, so far, the top 10. All of them valid. They deserve to be in these positions. This looks so nice. The eagle, the colors. I love the logos with the 3 outlines. It just gives it's more striking.
And in addition, a really fun fact about this logo is that it's actually the only left-facing logo in the league. Take a look at all the NFL logos.
Yeah, they're all going
of them are
right.
facing in the right direction except this one. And that is because another neat detail of this logo is that the feathers of the eagle at the very end of it make an E, obviously standing for the Eagles. So it's just clever how they use those feathers to also add another Easter egg. The white, black, gray, and dark forest green are a beautiful yet menacing color combination at the same time, and the eagle's face itself also just adds to that menacing factor. Just missing out on the number 1 spot, we have yet another modern bird logo, and this is the Atlanta Falcons logo. Now, when I was a kid, this was my favorite logo.
This is cool because it's an eagle, it's a falcon, sorry, the claw, and it makes an F. Yeah, this is really clever. Really cool looking logo.
I always see the Falcons play occasionally on TV when I was maybe like 6 or 7 years old, and I couldn't even focus on the game. I was just looking at the beautiful Falcons logo in the center of the field. Now, since then, my favorite logo has changed, but still the point still stands. This is an amazing logo. The overall concept of the logo has pretty much dated back to the franchise's creation, but this more modern design of the logo with the red has been used since 2003. It's a more modern take on the old logo, more detailed, and it actually is made to look more like the letter F, obviously representing falcons. This whole falcon is in the shape of the letter F. I love the idea of the falcon kind of swooping down on its prey. As you can see, claws are out, wings are down. The dark red and black color combination looks amazing as well. And it's just an amazing logo. But at number 1, the best logo in the NFL, at least in my opinion, is the Buffalo Bills logo. I just absolutely love the charging bison on this logo, the red stripe coming off from its horn.
It's nice, but would I have it number 1? No. Like, I'd probably have it somewhere between 10 and 15. It's nice, but no, definitely not number 1 for me.
Kind of just giving you a sense of speed and motion of the bison. A blue and red color combination always looks good, and I love how the bison is tilted downwards, as if it's charging at its opponent. Not to mention this logo has stood the test of time pretty well, as it's been around since 1974. So we have seen 50 years of this logo being around, and it feels classic, simple, yet not outdated whatsoever. With all these aspects, I believe that the Buffalo Bills is the best logo in the NFL today. Thank you guys so much for watching this.
Great video. I mean, for me, my favorites are the San Francisco 49ers logo, the Carolina Panthers logo, the Chicago Bears logo, and oh my gosh, which one did I like? Oh, the Detroit Lions logo was stunning. You know what? I think it's probably between the Detroit Lions. Oh my God. I can't pick between those 4. Really difficult. There were other ones that I liked too. Like, I'm trying to find them here. Oh yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs logo. Man, there's a lot of really good logos here. Really hard to pick my favorite, but I'd say those 5 are my favorites. What about yours? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.